Welcome back, I'm Tedward. Welcome to some real life traffic in my E39 M5, and this is going to be a fun therapy drive because we're heading up north to an E39 M5 meet. It's specific to this car. I told someone the other day I'm going to an M5 meet, and he goes, oh, it's always good to bring an E39 to balance out all the new cars. Make sure you park it next to an M5 CS and show them how bloated their cars got. And I said, no worries there. There are no other M5s invited to this thing. It is just E39, which is kind of incredible that the community, even just locally, is big enough to do this. There should be, I went to this a couple years ago and there was maybe 20 to 40 cars. I can't really remember. I'll say 40 because it felt big. I'm not sure who's going to be there. And I don't know if the community is growing or shrinking at this point, because over time, sure, the community can grow because more people buy the cars, or the community can shrink because people are aging out of the cars, or they're crashing the cars, or the cars aren't running anymore, because these are getting old, man. I mean, my car's in 2001. But I love having this group because not only do they rekindle my love for the car, it's always good when you have other people who care way more about something that you're interested in, because it helps you find the joy in the thing that you might be waning on a little bit. But also, I have questions. You know, these guys are experts. To keep these running healthily and driving as new or even a little better, these fellas really know their way around the aftermarket, and they know their way around all of the faults. So, my car, my E39 M5, has been through a little bit. We've had some oil leaks, whether it's been valve covers, rear main seal. We've done the entire cooling system. So as of now, she's sealed up really good, and I trust it to be able to maintain homeostasis on a hot day. And I know that this radiator isn't just going to bust wide open. Something it absolutely needs is a battery, because somehow, even though I bought this car 10 years ago, this battery still works. I keep it on a tender, and when it's at Garage 42, it's on a tender. But look, I am playing Russian roulette with this battery. Every time it starts, it is a gift, and it's just a Duralast battery. I'm gonna run over to AutoZone and pick up a new battery. That's not a big deal. It's easy. It's just a thing I have to do. But the next step really for this car is going to be the suspension. This is actually perfect traffic to talk about this in, because I think one of those shocks is blown out. I've seen a little bit of weeping. It's that right rear. It feels okay. I mean, the car is definitely a bit sloppy, but it's not clunking and awful. The bushings are managing what's going on, but I'm sure the car could drive a heck of a lot better if we did a refresh. And that refresh is going to include all the control arms and struts and springs. And the question is, how deep do you go? So I was talking to Jade Roy over at FCP Euro when I was at Lime Rock for Grid Life, because he is like the E46 expert. This dude has the cleanest and a very high mileage E46 M3. He knows his way around this stuff. And we've talked about Bilstein B8s and KW V3s. I think that's maybe the way to go. And to replace all of the bushings and stuff and control arms, go with the Mila equipment. So I'm going to talk to the fellas up at this meet. We'll get off the highway shortly and enjoy some back roads, because this is boring. But I'm showing you this because this is one of the reasons why people say, like, why don't you go out on therapy drives all the time? Well, sometimes it's not that therapeutic to get to the place that's therapeutic. To get where you want to go, sometimes you really gotta suffer through some very boring and frustrating traffic. And if your goal is to enjoy yourself and not get rear-ended by somebody texting on their phone, my goodness, a busy highway on a weekend while everyone's trying to travel up to go camping or to the lakes or whatever isn't it. But enough about that. 83,000 miles on my E39 right now. Ooh, a little bit of lean from this Ranger. Let's get after it, and we'll go see what others have done to their cars, because man, there is a smattering of E39s up there. Some folks have installed some elaborate modern infotainment screens in their M5s that allow them to have Apple CarPlay and things. I have not done that, but I made a fatal flaw. The error I made is that I forgot to charge my phone, and I'm so used to just, oh, well, I'm in the car, so I'll be charging. Well, I don't have any charger in this car, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit sparing with my phone use today. Let's see where we go now. We're going over here. Okay. Because I really don't know where I am. This is no man's land for me. Okay, we got some Volvo fellas over here. We like that. New Hampshire car culture is pretty interesting because there's such a varied spectrum. There's the shitbox loving like Pontiac Sunfires that have somehow managed to stay on the road. There's the other end of the spectrum where you have outrageous, exotic, classic car collectors with millions, I mean tens of millions of dollars worth of cars, and that is partially because there's no sales tax in New Hampshire. So if you're going to buy a $5 million car, you can save quite a bit of money if you're doing it in New Hampshire. But then there's all this kind of smattering in between. There's a lot of like Camaros and Mustangs. There's a great hot rod culture here, but there's also classic car culture. When I say classic car culture, I mean like 30s and 40s. There's hot rods out here. There's some beautiful, beautiful stuff. And this is where my knowledge just goes out the door. Someone's talking about like a flathead Ford or whatever. I kind of don't know what I'm looking at, but I can appreciate it. And I think I'd like to learn more. It's intimidating to learn about a segment of car that you don't have access to, because you got to ask some big, burly, tattooed gentlemen smoking cigars at an ice cream shop what the heck their car is and why it should matter. They're always friendly, don't get me wrong. People are friendly, but I'm just saying it can be a little intimidating, because when you're trying to just like figure out like, what am I looking at? And they're looking at you like, how do you not know what you're looking at? Hello, officer. Do not want to get pulled over in New Hampshire. They are not usually very friendly. Local PD, fine. State police, oh my goodness. Cool it on the highways out here, because they also have airplane patrol and they'll follow you. So you may think you got away with murder because you didn't see a speed trap on the road, but I'll tell you, they're just watching you from above. You can tell car culture in a certain area by the skid marks in the road. You can tell people are out testing. Look at this. They're out testing their new rear end or a new tune or something. It's just kind of hysterical when you come out to these spots, because my neighborhood has a little bit of this and I've gotten blamed for it in the past. I don't go out doing burnouts. I've had people be like, hey, are you one of those guys? I'm like, no, I can't afford to shatter the driveline in my BMW. I think I am going to use the restroom before I get to my destination, because I hate asking people to go in their house. Not going to park on the Mountain Dew can. Oops, forgot about that. Oh, it's been a while since I've driven this car. Oh, so much better. It's going to start up. That light stayed on a little longer than I anticipated. I always get nervous when I'm driving this car. I'm like, please, no service lights, no problems. I will tell you though, it's a lot easier owning this car and being a little less emotionally attached to its problems or persnickety check engine lights when it's your third and fourth car than when it's your second car. If it's your first car, you're probably in panic mode all the time. God, it's still fast though. Like actually fast. That's crazy. This car's so old and it still hustles. It might feel faster just because I've got pretty worn suspension, so there's a lot of squat and dive on acceleration and braking, but that's okay. We'll appreciate it for what it is at the moment. But yeah, when the car becomes your fourth car or third car because you're adding other things to the collection, it just doesn't hurt as much if it throws a check engine light. You're like, okay, we'll deal with it. It'll get done, but we don't need to be like panicking about it. We don't need to be too worried, because even if it misses a year of inspection, like, okay, well, you know, it'll get to the shop. It's not going to strand you. Rattlesnake Hill Road, that's a good name for a road. That's a tough name for a road. Hopefully there are not actually rattlesnakes on it, because there are rattlesnakes in New England, believe it or not. Ooh, that's a big bump. I don't want to hit that. Am I hearing a new noise in the back of my car? Lovely. Yeah, this is Rattlesnake Hill Road. Holy cow, what a great road. I mean, you can't do anything on it just because of the houses, but... All right, this is it. All right, so we're going through the neighbor's yard. This is sanctioned. This is how this works, because his house is over there. So sorry and thank you to these people for letting us go on the lawn. And hopefully everyone's still here. I'm curious what the show is. Oh my God, yes! We've got people here. This is great. Howdy!
You made it.
Dude, it's good to see you. Where would you like me?
Why don't you park behind Mike's car, the cheer rod or whatever the hell you
Right here?
it. Yeah.
Perfect, cool.
You're the first third rower.
All right.
Welcome.
Right here? Or
Pull a little further forward. We're not going for a cruise.
Sure.
So we're all here for a while.
All right, we'll kill it there. Sweet. Thank you. Let's see who we got here. There's a lot of cars. What a great meet. Always a treat to see what the community is up to these days, because, you know, when I bought this car 10 years ago, the M5, especially the E39 M5 community, it was really strong. This was still people's dream car. It had a lot of cachet, and I think it still does today, but it's different because now it's enthusiasts keeping them alive versus, hey, this is good bang for buck and it's fast. Like, there's lots of fast cars out there, and if you want to get a fast car for 40 grand right now, you go and buy yourself like an M3 with a couple of turbos, and you know that thing's gonna scoot, and you tune it and it's terrifying. M5 owners, this is now almost a stylistic choice to keep them going, and it's great to have a community of people who, when you get nervous about something, they say, hey, wait, where do I get this part, or who did you go to for those wheels? That's what I like. I like having that knowledge, and it's fun to have a group of people who have been through some of the same struggles that you're going through, because they can just show you exactly how to avoid it. But these cars still command a pretty good amount of respect. In fact, I even got a thumbs up from a dude on a Harley today on 93, which I wasn't expecting. It has a presence, and it's funny because it's just a BMW and it's a 5 Series. Oh, look at this VW with the flatbed and that's so cool. Oh, I'd love to see it. This is what I'm talking about. New Hampshire has the craziest car culture. That's what I need to be doing right now. I need to be running. Look at the torque of this thing. You just don't even need to redline it. So huge thanks to Jim up in New Hampshire for putting on an E39 show locally, which really, no one has to do this. This is just for the love of the car and the community. So that's just so greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive. And I'll see you in the next one. And if you've got a car that you love, start finding that community around it, because that might be the thing that kind of keeps the car and your passion for the car alive. Sure, if you're a Ferrari guy, it might kill your passion for the car because it's insufferable to deal with those forums. But if you're into something like this, you actually might find a lot of cool, knowledgeable people from all walks of life just enjoying the thing that you love the most. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.